Have you been wasting hours searching for the most beautiful crochet dress designs? Because I've already done that for you. I went down a serious rabbit hole looking at hundreds of crochet frocks for girls, and what I found honestly surprised me. There are designs out there that look like they belong in a boutique window, and most people have no idea how to make them. Today, I'm going to walk you through some of the latest and most beautiful girl frock designs you can crochet right now. And by the end of this, you're going to have a clear picture of exactly which style is the right one to start with. But first, here's the thing most people get wrong when they try to crochet a girl's dress. They start with a pattern that looks beautiful in the photo, they get halfway through, and then it just doesn't look the same. The neckline is off, the skirt doesn't flare right, the stitch pattern doesn't pop the way it did in the picture, and I know exactly why that happens, and I'm going to tell you. Let's start with what makes a crochet frock actually look stunning on a little girl versus just looking like a basic project you knocked out in a weekend. The number one thing is structure. A beautiful crochet dress has shape. It pulls in slightly at the waist, it has a skirt that moves, and it has a top portion that actually fits cleanly across the chest and shoulders. This is where most beginner and even intermediate crocheters go wrong. They treat a dress like it's just a long rectangle they stitch together. But the best designs are worked in a way where the structure is built right into the stitch pattern itself. One of the most stunning styles right now is what I'd call the tiered ruffle frock. This design creates a skirt with multiple layers that each flare outward as you go down. It gives a princess-like effect that looks incredibly detailed, but the way it's constructed is actually not as complicated as it looks. Each tier is worked separately and attached as you go. The trick is in how you increase stitches at each tier. You usually double your stitch count as you transition from one tier to the next, which is what creates that dramatic flare. The top of the dress is worked as a fitted yoke, often with a simple shell stitch or fan stitch pattern, and then the skirt portion cascades from there in layers. For yarn choice on this style, a smooth cotton yarn in a pastel color does something magical. Soft pink, lavender, mint green, these colors combined with a fan stitch pattern look like something that came straight from a specialty baby boutique. If you use a slightly mercerized cotton, meaning a cotton yarn that has a slight sheen to it, the finished dress almost looks like it has a silk quality to it, which is really hard to believe until you actually see it in person. Now let's talk about the Sweetheart neckline frock design, because this one has been absolutely everywhere lately, and for good reason. The Sweetheart neckline, that curved, slightly heart-shaped top edge on a dress, gives a feminine and elegant look that works beautifully for special occasions. What's interesting about this in crochet is that achieving that shape requires careful shaping in the bodice section of the dress, specifically working decreases on either side of the center front to create that dipping curve. The stitch most commonly used with this style is the pineapple stitch, and if you've never worked with pineapple stitch before, you are in for a real treat. The pineapple stitch creates these raised, elongated motifs that look like, you guessed it, little pineapples. And when they're worked across the skirt of a dress, the overall effect is incredibly rich and textured. It catches the light, it has dimension, and it has that handmade quality that you genuinely cannot buy in a store. The key to getting the pineapple stitch to look its best is tension. Your tension needs to be consistent throughout. And honestly, if your tension tends to be a bit loose, going down one hook size from what the yarn recommends can make a big difference. The stitch definition gets sharper, the motifs look crisper, and the finished dress holds its shape better after washing. Here's something that a lot of people don't think about when they're planning a crochet dress for a girl. The finishing details are what take a dress from looking nice to looking extraordinary. I'm talking about things like a satin ribbon threaded through a row of chain space eyelets at the waist, creating a bow at the back. I'm talking about small crocheted flower appliques added to the shoulder straps or at the waist. I'm talking about a picot edge along the hem of the skirt, which is just a simple 3-chain picot that creates a delicate, lacy border all the way around the bottom. These little details add maybe 30 minutes to your total project time, but they make the dress look like you spent 3 times as long on it. That's not an exaggeration. The details are what people notice first when they see the finished piece, even before they notice the stitch pattern. Let me walk you through another style that's been showing up a lot recently, the Bohemian-inspired crochet frock. This style leans into natural textures and earthy tones. Think cream, warm beige, dusty rose, sage green. The stitch patterns used in this style tend to be open and airy, lots of mesh stitch, lots of granny squares arranged in a patchwork layout for the skirt, and sometimes a combination of solid crochet at the top and open lace work on the bottom half. What I love about the Bohemian style is how forgiving it is in terms of fit. Because the design is meant to be relaxed and flowy, slight sizing variations don't ruin the look the way they would in a more structured style. So this makes it a really good choice if you're newer to garment construction, or if you're making a dress as a gift and you're not totally certain about exact measurements. Now let's walk through another style that's been showing up a lot recently, the yoke frock with a circular crochet yoke. In this design, the top portion of the dress, the yoke, is worked in the round from the neckline outward, increasing at regular intervals to shape the shoulders and chest. The result is a seamless, beautifully smooth top that transitions into the skirt with no obvious seam line. This technique, often called top-down construction, is well loved by experienced crocheters because the fit is so much easier to control. You can try the dress on as you go, or in the case of a child's dress, you can check the size against the child's measurements as you work and adjust before you've committed to the full length. Now I want to spend a moment on the smocked crochet dress style because I genuinely think this is one of the underrated designs in the crochet world right now. Smocking in crochet creates a gathered, bunched effect that mimics the look of traditional fabric smocking. It's done by working a base of rows in a simple stitch, then going back and adding post stitches, stitches that wrap around the post of a stitch from a previous row, in a pattern that pulls the fabric together in specific places. The result looks intricate and deliberate, like something very skilled was at work. But the technique itself is learnable, even for someone who is relatively early in their crochet journey. The smocked dress style works especially well in lightweight yarns. A sport weight or fingering weight cotton creates a smocked frock that is breathable and comfortable, which matters a lot when you're making clothes for children who are going to be wearing them in warm weather or at active events like birthday parties. Speaking of weather and occasions, let's talk about how to match your design choice to what the dress is actually going to be used for. For a formal occasion, like a wedding, a christening, a birthday party, or a portrait photo session, you want to go for something with more detail and more visual impact. The tiered ruffle frock, the sweetheart pineapple stitch frock, or the yoke frock in a white or ivory yarn with delicate finishing details. These are all perfect choices. They photograph beautifully, they look special, and they have the kind of elevated appearance that makes the occasion feel memorable. For everyday wear or casual occasions, the Bohemian patchwork style and the smocked frock in cotton yarn are better options. They're comfortable, easier to care for, and they have a relaxed look that still feels put together without being fussy. Now, here's something I find really interesting about crochet frocks specifically: the sizing. Unlike sewing, where you're working from flat pattern pieces that you cut and assemble, crochet garments are shaped as you work. This means you have a lot of control over the fit, but it also means you need to swatch. And I know a lot of crocheters groan when they hear the word swatch. But for a dress, especially one that needs to fit a real child with real measurements, a gauge swatch is not optional. Even a small difference in tension across a large project like a dress can make a significant difference in the finished piece that is significantly smaller or larger than intended.